Hey guys, welcome back to Skylanders Ring of Heroes. Now in this one we're going to be covering a question that gets asked a lot, and that is whether you want to use percentage or flat stat runes. Now there's a fair bit of maths in this one. I'm going to try and explain as best I can without trying to make it confusing. Basically the way you calculate it, so you can calculate anything you want, and then I'll give you my rough sort of baseline base stat that you want to look for every one of attack, defense, and HP, and then what that baseline stat is. And if your base stat is lower than that, you'll go for flat. If it's higher, you'll go percentage. That's what it'll end up being. So we'll start off and we'll just talk about the runes in general. I'll put up on the screen now basically a chart that shows you 5-star runes at plus 12 and what they end up being for percentage of flat, attack, defense, and HP. And I'll also do one for 6-star runes at plus 15, because I figure when you get 5-star runes, you're going to be normally just leaving them at plus 12, and 6-star runes are the ones you're going to be pumping up to 15. That's what I'd suggest anyway. 4-star runes I'd leave at plus 9, but 4-star runes, normally when you're still using them in that progression phase, you're going to be not really having 6-star units as much. Once you start getting those 6-star units, you'll normally be moving towards 5-star runes. That's why I'm only really focusing on 5 and 6-star runes, because when you're below 6-star, basically every unit is going to want flat stat for everything. There'll be a couple that maybe if you're 5-star plus 5 awakened might creep into percentage, but majoritively speaking, when you're using 4-star runes, you're going to want flats. Just for that stage of progression you'd be at, and then by the time you get those higher level creatures, you'll be starting to get the 5 and 6-star runes. Okay, hopefully that didn't get too confusing, but those little charts are on the screen. Get rid of them now, and then we'll go through the basic calculations we use for it. And the basic calculation you use to find out that baseline is the flat stat, the maxed out, or the same level. So the 5-star runes, it'll be the plus 12 value. For the 6-star, we use basically 6 stars for these examples, because the 5 and 6-star, the 5 at plus 12 and the 6-star at plus 15 end up being a very, very close baseline for all the stats. So it'll be a good rough guide that you can use to go, okay, if that's my base stat, we'll go for this. But yeah, so what you do is, we'll take a 6-star plus 15 rune. For example, you take, say it's attack flat. We'll go to Tough Luck's runes here just to have a look. No, we won't. We'll go to Kaboom here. This is how I got the stats. So power this one up. You can see once it gets to level 15, it'll be 1389. So you take that flat stat, you divide it by what attack becomes as a percentage, which is 62%, which is 0.62. So you do whatever that flat stat value was divided by 0.62, and that'll give you a base number, a baseline stat number. And basically, if your base stat for your Skylander is above that number, you'll want percentage. If it's below it, you'll want flat. That's the basics of it. So when we look at, I'll put up some charts on the screen right now, which will show you the calculations on attack, defense, and HP for both 5-star runes at plus 12 and 6-star runes at plus 15. And it does those calculations with the values that I've obtained. Thank you to everyone from Discord who helped me get all the values I needed to do this video. And that'll show you that the baseline, as you can see, for 5-star runes on attack is 2209, and for 6-star runes is 2240. So it's very close. Then you've got the defense ones for, they're only like another 30 apart, and HP's like 10, 12 apart or something like that. So it's very close. So when there's that minimal difference, it's not going to make a huge difference to what you're actually looking for. So that is basically the summary of what you're really looking for when you're looking for percentage versus flat. And this last screen I'm going to put on is going to be the general rune selection cheat sheet. You can pause it, you can print screen it, and just use that as your basic cheat sheet. That's what I use as my cheat sheet now when I'm going into ruining up my Skylanders, whether I'm using 5-star runes or 6-star runes. That's just the basic number I look for. It makes it easy. You're looking for one number, and it's not going to affect you too much if you do something different. And so there you go. Those are the baselines that I'm looking for. And just to explain that sheet, in the middle you've got attack, defense, and HP with their baseline. basically their base stat line value. And then if your base stat is below that number, you'll choose flat. If it's higher than that number, you'll choose percentage. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, I'm really sorry. And what I'll find normally is, because the gap between rune levels, between a 4-star rune and a 5-star rune, and a 5-star rune and a 6-star rune, this isn't 100% every case, but normally just going the higher star rune, whether you want percentage or flat, it doesn't matter what your level 4 rune is and what the level 5. If you want flat stat and your 4-star rune is flat and the 5-star is percentage, I'd say normally you're going to want that 5-star, just because they do have a massive difference in value. And for me, I only plus my 4-star runes to 9 and my 5-stars to 12, so you're also getting extra power up value out of it. That's just my way I select it. And if we go through and look at some of the Skylanders here, we'll have a look at their base stats. I'll just go to the power up to check it. And as you can see, my tough luck, when you've got that base stat of 2240 for attack that you want to be above, you can see her attack is above that, which means she wants percentage for attack. The line for defense is 1357. I didn't round those, so it might be 1 or 2 up, but you know, one up or 1 down, sorry. Yeah, so 1357, so she is well under that, so she definitely wants flat defense, because she'll be getting really poor value out of the percentage. And then the HP, she's about 900 below the mark for that as well, so she definitely wants flat HP. But then if we look at something like, another good example is Hot Dog. He's in a similar boat. He's got the attack that's above the line, but the defense and HP that are below the line, which when he says support, you might think that he wants percent HP and defense, but it's not. He's actually support that's scaled towards attack. And the thing with Hot Dog is, I'm not 100% sure exactly how heals are calculated, but if they don't state anything else, I'm pretty sure they go off of attack. So like, I've got my Hot Dog rune for a bit of attack now, so he's on the strike set, and he's got an attack percentage rune on him here. And the reason I do that is, this also helps when you're choosing your rune sets, is that if you're something like a Hot Dog, you know, his heal scales of attack, so you want a bit of attack, but you also want to get him tanky with a bit of HP and defense. Ignore this HP rune, it's supposed to be flat, it's all I had, so that's why that's there. This is a bad example of a rune, but that's supposed to be flat if I was playing optimally. He's getting poor value out of that HP percent. But the reason I went for the strike set is because he wants percentage on his attack. He doesn't want percentage on his defense or HP. So if I went full energy sets and then put attack percent on all them, he'd be getting less value out of it. So the way you want to do it is use those strike sets, because you're getting that big attack percentage value, and then use the flat stat main runes for slots 2 and 4 to get him those tanky stats. I hope that made sense. It gets a bit, I get a bit deep down the rabbit hole when I start talking about it, but yeah, that's the basic reason. If you want percent in a certain stat, that's a stat you kind of want to go for the percentages with. So when I look at my Wham Shell here, we can see that his attack is only 1911, which is well below that 2240 you need to want percentage. And then his defense is 1288, which is below the line, but I've put him on defense percent because I know that if you look at +2, he's at 1310. Mine's is still not level 70. So I'm just banking on the fact that once he's maxed out, he will want percent, because he'll be above that 1357. And then his HP is at the 4521, which is well above the HP line for percent. So he basically wants attack flat, defense and HP percent. And that's why with him, I've gone for the energy and the ward runes and the dodge. The dodge was just because I made a set and I had a HP percent there. But yeah, that's what he wants there. If you're looking at something like a Blades and you wanted, like, obviously Blades, if we look at him, his attack is really low. His defense is actually below the line too, and it won't get up there, but it's really close to the line that you can sort of choose whichever, but his HP is above. So with Blades, if you wanted to get him to do some damage, I'd stick to putting, mine's is a bad example because I've got the dodge and he does like the dodge. But if you had a tanky monster that wants some attack for whatever it may be, maybe they've got to regenerate or something like that, but they're below the attack line, then you'd go with like the energy sets to get the percentages from that, and then use the flat attack as the main stat to gain your attack stats. I know I've carried on a little bit too long about that, but once again, that cheat sheet's on the screen, and just basically follow that, look at it, and if you're below, you want flat. If you're above, you want percentage. I'm happy to answer any questions in the comments, because if I know that it's hard to explain this thing, so if I've messed anything up, let me know. But basically, if you just look at that cheat sheet for a guide, you're spot on. So thanks for watching another video, guys. I hope it wasn't too confusing, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.